realized that they were actually surprised that my husband could be good looking. In other words, doesn't a good looking husband, demand a wife that is, slender and healthy? And they were surprised. And I said to my husband, when I got brave enough, because the answer could be difficult for me, I said, honey, I want to know why you stayed with, and I'd never asked him until they kind of said that. And I went, oh my gosh, why did he stay with me? So I said, why did you stay with me when I was 275 pounds? Because I know if he had been, I would have left him, but I sure would have nagged him to death if he had been overweight. But he didn't. He'd encourage me, but he never, made me feel less than. In fact, he'd be so proud of me, he'd introduce me to everybody, and I'd be so embarrassed. But anyways, I asked him, why did you stay with me when I was 275 pounds? And he said to me, Nada, he said, Lorraine, he said, I saw your heart. Oh. I married you because of your heart. And I realized that in that moment, we are all just frames. So some of us have bigger frames and some of us need to be healthier, yes. But we all have a beating heart and we all are capable of love and laughter. And he saw right deep into my soul that even though I was 275 pounds, he loved me for who I was, not for the body, not for what I looked like to other people, but he loved me. Mm-hmm. And that has been one of the most, it almost makes me cry, one of the most significant things of my life, because here is a husband who loved me, and I know for certain he loved me for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's the sweetest thing. You are such a blessed woman. You are so blessed. That's so beautiful. Oh.
I am blessed. I am blessed with a wonderful husband. Don't you have a wonderful husband too?
I do. I do have a wonderful husband also. Yes. And I was laughing when you said that you would be nagging him. If it was reversed, you would be nagging him. You would still be married to him. And I thought, oh my God, it's the same thing. And I thought, aren't we so damn cute?
We are.
I'll nag you if it gets turned around. But in the meantime, we're okay.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my goodness. So I would imagine too, Lorraine, that even being able to ask Tim that question and knowing, I don't know what his response is going to be, and waiting for that response, that when you got the response that you did, and even if you didn't get that same response, just having, because in a lot of relationships, people won't even ask that question. They'll just bury that. I don't even want to know, because what if it's bad news? And so that relationship can't get deeper and richer. And I'm assuming that just made your relationship with Tim and Tim with you that much deeper and that much more significant.
Absolutely, for sure. And I think I'd like to say this to the audience too. Oftentimes we want to avoid asking the hard questions because we're scared of the answer. And one of the things that I did when I was 275 pounds, I actually did this. I snuck into my office late at night and I opened up the computer and I wanted to look to see if I was morbidly obese. And of course I was, but I wanted to look on the internet, and it was like, I didn't want to know, but yet I wanted to know. Yeah. So I think there's some real significant things that can happen in our lives when we face the truth. We want to avoid asking those questions because we don't want to hear the answer. So I didn't want to hear the answer. And so finally I opened up the computer and of course, I was morbidly obese. So that night I went home, and I recall as well, I it is tearful again because I looked in the mirror. I made myself get naked. I looked in the mirror, and this is when I took 100% responsibility for myself. I said, Lorraine, you are morbidly obese. And I made myself look at myself. What are you going to do about it? And I think that was the turning point, because up till then, I could blame other people. But here I was morbidly obese, and I was admitting it. So you see on my website, I have many pictures of me, when I was overweight. And I didn't mind having the camera because somehow in my head, I wasn't that big. You know what I mean? Other people are ashamed to be in the camera. I had all kinds of pictures of myself because I was happy and my husband loved me and everything. But until I said to myself that I'm morbidly obese and what are you going to do about it, I didn't really change. And then that's when I started the transformation, and it was doing the digging, the deep part of figuring out why I felt so unworthy. And that changed my whole life. And you have to be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. It's the same with if you've got a alcohol problem, whatever problem you have, until you finally say, I have a problem and I need to do something about it. You don't ever, you're blaming others. So hope that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And I know we're going to get close to having to wrap this up. So before I start any of the closing down with this, I have too many more questions that I want to ask you. So would you be willing to come back and do another show with me for next week so I can get all of these other fun questions answered?
Absolutely, Nada. That would be fun.
Fabulous, fabulous. So, okay, so I'm going to save the question that I want to ask you right now, and we'll save that for next week because I know that it will run out of time. So I'm going to that will be my very first question when I meet back with you. And in the meantime, your podcast is called Never Too Late Ever. And your website is it's by the same name, correct? nevertoolateever.com.
Yes, or you can use LorraineHoving.com. And on there, I have a free chapter of a book that I'm in. And then also, if any of your audience wants some recipes or I've got recipes and I've got mocktails. I've got links that I will send over to Nada because I've got some great things coming up for this Black Friday. But there's free recipes and free mocktails and that kind of thing. So I'd love to send over some links to you.
Oh, that would be phenomenal. That would be phenomenal. Thank you so much for that, Lorraine. Yes, I noticed. I want to talk to you about your book too. My goodness, I didn't know you had a book out there.
Well, I'm just one chapter of a book with 13 other authors.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, and I downloaded the chapter, and I don't know where it downloaded into my computer because I can't find it. I'm telling you, if I had to live my whole life with technology, I would be at a standstill every day. I get so miffed. So I'll let the audience know more, and you can tell us more about the chapter that you wrote because I'm excited to hear about that, and I know the listeners are too. So for all of the listeners, without a doubt, you cannot walk away from this conversation with Lorraine without having gold nuggets, a smile on your face, a bounce in your step, and joy in your heart. You just can't. It's impossible. So I want to say
thank you, Nada. This was so fun. We'll see you next week.
Sounds fabulous. Yes. And for the listeners, all of Lorraine's information will be in the show notes. So don't worry if you missed anything. It will all be available right there for you. And especially the links will be there too. So you can pick up all of her great information and the chapter on the book and recipes and other fun stuff. So until next time, much love to you. Have a beautiful week. Much love to you, Lorraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nada. Talk to you soon.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Please go to nadahogan.com for show notes and other information you can use right away. If you like what you heard here, please subscribe to our show and don't forget to rate and review right there on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you get your shows. And don't forget to tell your friends about it. We'll see you next week.